And we welcome you into Game Day Scoreboard. Kiana Martin here to kick off your holiday week. And while I'm thankful for you, Giants fans, well, maybe thankful to get another week to be closer to that #1 pick in next year's draft. And speaking of Giants fans, a lot of drama with the franchise these days. And Malik Neighbors fanned those flames after Sunday's blowout loss to the Buccaneers. The rookie wide receiver had 0 targets in the first half of that game, and he wasn't too happy about it. Giants coach Brian Daboll tried to mend those fences on Monday. Here's some of what he had to say.
He's a very competitive individual. Again, you want to get the ball in his hands, and I got to do a better job of getting the ball in his hands early. And you know, he's a smart young guy that's very competitive, Pat. And again, when you lose like that, it's a frustrating thing. But we've had good communication, as we always have.
Things aren't going much smoother for the New York Jets. The Jets are 3-8 and well on their way to missing the playoffs for the 14th straight season. And that's surrounded by talk that Aaron Rodgers could be playing through significant injuries. Interim coach Jeff Ulbrich told reporters Monday that there's no plans to shut down the veteran quarterback.
I feel like we are on the same page. I think we're both people that are, not to say I'm completely void of the knowledge of what's going outside this building, but my focus is here and what I can control, and I think he feels the same way, and from that standpoint, we've been on the same page from the beginning of this.
And it's been a rough ride in Jacksonville, too. The Jags are coming off their bye week at 2-9 on the year and stuck in a 4-game losing streak. Something clearly has to change in Jacksonville. Here's what Coach Doug Peterson had to say on Monday.
You know, I know there's a lot of negativity around us, and rightfully so. You know, we understand that. Around me, I understand that. But I choose not to listen to it, and I choose to go the other way and be positive, because you only get so many days and so many opportunities in this league, and then your days are done. And when they're done, you know, you look back and you go, hey, you know, I gave it everything, you know, that I had, you know, to these players, to this team, to this league. And that's what I choose. And I choose to go out, you know, every single day and try to make a difference for this team.
We now welcome in CBS Sports NFL writer Tyler Sullivan, as at least the city of New York has maybe the New York Liberty, because it's been a rough few months for NYC sports fans, Yankees included in that conversation. But let's set our focus to the NFL, Tyler, because quarterback Daniel Jones, well, cleared waivers today after being released from the Giants on Friday, and he's now able to sign with any team. Now, while he's not expected to make any immediate decisions, Tyler, what do you believe is next for DJ?
Well, immediately after the news we were getting that he was released, I'm like, please, the football gods, give us a Thanksgiving gift and have him sign with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, we're all talking about we want Tommy Cutlets in New York, right? Well, I want Daniel Jones at my Thanksgiving on TV in a Dallas Cowboys uniform against his former Giants team. It's probably not going to happen, because we're talking about, you know, this on Monday and the game's on Thursday, and, you know, he just cleared waivers. So that dream is probably dead. But that is an interesting landing spot. Obviously, as you can see, Dak Prescott out for the season with hamstring injury. Cooper Rush up and down. That's an interesting landing spot just on the side, but that's really more for fun more than anything else. The team that I think that's going a little bit under the radar, because we're looking at a lot of teams like San Francisco with the Brock Purdy injury, the team to me that's under the radar for a little bit more of a long-term view for Daniel Jones is the Cleveland Browns. We know that the Deshaun Watson situation has just gone completely sideways with this team. Now he's out for the season with an injury. We don't know when he's going to be back. Jameis Winston obviously comes in, plays well, gets a win the other day. But I wonder what the long-term answer is going to be here for Cleveland at quarterback. You're committed financially to Deshaun Watson. I believe, just through my rough math, through at least 2026, I don't think they can really get out of that contract without taking substantial financial hits until then. So you're either going to go down the road of bringing in a rookie quarterback, which if the record stays the same as the way it is right now, they could do that. Or you could bring in a veteran quarterback that's not going to cost you a lot of money. I don't think that Daniel Jones is really going to cost you that much. And so could Kevin Stefanski be someone that could help fix Daniel Jones? I actually trust him to do that.
It's a good point there, but I'm also with you. I would love to see Daniel Jones face his former team on Thanksgiving. There will be no shortage of conversations at the dinner table facing the team he spent 5 years with, but we'll see how things shake out. But as for that other struggling New York club, the Jets sticking with their signal caller, who is in the midst of one of the worst statistical seasons of his career. Aaron Rodgers, turning 41 next month, was asked, despite being 3-8, does he want to continue to play next season, where he responded, I think so. Two of the forces who brought him to New York now gone. So Tyler, how do you just envision the rest of the season going for Rodgers?
Yeah, this is just a really kind of gross situation for the New York Jets. I feel bad for New York Jets fans. I mean, you got to go back a few years. You thought that this was going to be your version of Tom Brady going down to Tampa, right? Like, you thought that you were going to get your Hall of Fame future quarterback with a young roster ready to go to contend. He was the missing piece, and here we go. He made it happen. And it's just gone so the opposite direction. It's really remarkable how things have really changed here. And so right now we're talking about a weekend where there are multiple reports about whether or not he's going to be with the team in 2025, whether or not he's injured. Is he going to go on injured reserve? Is the ownership going to step in and try to put him on the bench? I mean, it just feels like this could go in so many different directions, but ultimately this team is one of the worst teams record-wise in the NFL. They're vying for last place in their division. They're certainly not mathematically out of the playoffs, but getting close to it. And when we hit that juncture, I think things are going to start ramping up a little bit more, in the sense of we might be seeing Aaron Rodgers be put on the shelf with some sort of an injury that he's been dealing with throughout the season, with these games no longer potentially resulting in playoff situations. Now, you remember last year they were talking about possibly does Aaron Rodgers come back. He was flirting with it a little bit up until they were eliminated from postseason contention. I kind of feel like we're going to go down a similar road here, where all of a sudden, once they're mathematically gone, so goes Aaron Rodgers.
But like you mentioned, still technically in the mix. So we'll see how the next couple of weeks at least play out. Well, as for the San Francisco 49ers, they're happy to potentially have their signal caller back this week after missing Sunday's matchup against the Packers, where they suffered their worst loss since 2018. In Brock Purdy's absence, Brandon Allen finished with just under 200 yards, a touchdown, a pick, and 2 fumbles. So, Tyler, can this team, in your eyes, bounce back with Purdy back in the lineup? But they do have a tall task because they are taking on the Bills in Week 13 and on the road.
Yeah, see, this is what's tough. It's just the road ahead for the San Francisco 49ers team, even if they were at full strength. You say, hey, listen, you have to go into Highmark Stadium and play the Buffalo Bills. That's a tall task for the Kansas City Chiefs, who just won back-to-back Super Bowls. So it's not the easiest of situations for the 49ers, and then throw into the fact that they're not healthy. So this is where it gets tricky here for San Francisco, because not only do you have a tricky road ahead, then sure, Buffalo is going to be difficult. Chicago, you might get a little bit of relief. The Rams always play you tough. Dolphins are coming on, and obviously the Lions are who we think they are, #1 seed potential in the NFC. So you're looking at that path, and then you look at the standings for the San Francisco 49ers team. Yes, the NFC West, everybody's kind of knotted within a game in the loss column, so it possibly could come down to tiebreakers. And right now, it just doesn't work in San Francisco's favor. 1-3 in the division record-wise. That's the next tie-breaking scenario. So to me, it just seems like too tall of a hill. It just seems like too tough of a season for the San Francisco 49ers team that's just been snake-bitten by injuries.
Yeah, I feel like that's the story. If their season was written in a book, I think the headline of this story would be what their injury and the injury amount have been piling up over the last several weeks. Just what they've been dealing with has been just too tall of a hill for the defending NFC champs to climb. As always, Tyler, we appreciate you stopping by with the insight. Well, CBS has a monster slate of games on tap for Week 13, and we'll have you covered for all of them. Post-game highlights, recaps, on-field interviews, much, much more right here on CBS Sports HQ. Watch live on the CBS Sports app, or you can stream it on Paramount+.